Man, episode 2 of Loki literally blew my mind. What an episode, what a series. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since. I've got so many theories going on in there. Loads of them contradict each other. I'm absolutely loving it. It did confirm my theory from the first episode that I left. You can check that out in this video up here. But yeah, with that happening so early, Loki basically coming out and saying, yeah, I am going to try and rule the TVA and take over the sacred timeline. I think obviously that's not going to be the big picture here, so I have got new theories. Obviously it's going to evolve every week as we find out new things. Let's do this. Yeah, literally the episode starts about the Renaissance Fair, and there's the epic, or not so epic, Battle to Bonnie Tyler's I Need a Hero. So you gotta love 80s power ballads. Rock! So, a little disappointing maybe, but there are hints here what I think is going to be going on later on. So the team show up, we see Loki, he gets his jacket, they go out on a mission, and he's just straight away, he's trying to play them off, talk his way through things. I think he almost has Mobius convinced anyway, until he pushes his luck that little bit about, we've got to get to the Timekeepers, they're in more danger than you think, and Mobius doesn't buy it, he calls BS. But I actually think there's actually much more truth in this than any of them realise. Obviously Loki's just spinning the tail, trying to, as he says later on, buy time so the variant can come in and attack or whatever he thinks that she wants to do. I think there's a lot more truth in this statement than any of them actually realise. So the whole thing in the TVA with Miss Minutes at Mobius's desk, I mean, what the hell's going on there? Is she a hologram, but she is sort of hard light, I think?
I'm a hard light hologram, and as such, unknockoutable.
I think you're right, sir.
Right!
She's jumping around, she's making noise on the desk, but then she disappears into the computer screen, so that seems a bit weird. Don't really know what's going on with that thing. But the whole Mobius jet ski palaver, I was playing around with the idea of Mobius being a version of Kang. I do think there's much more to Mobius' story. We are being led to believe. I think he's quite crucial to this, to the TVA and to the story of the TVA. But this scene with the jet ski and the way he talks about it makes me believe that he's just from the 90s, He was probably supposed to die on a jet ski and didn't. So therefore he was probably one of the first variants that the TVA picked up. I think that's what these agents are. I think they're all people that they're all variants, they've been picked up, they've been mind washed, memory wiped, They all drank the Kool-Aid, as it were, in utter belief of the TVA, the sacred timeline, the Timekeepers. Mobius says this, he believes. And that's what makes his, he accepts his existence just the way it is. But I think, that's what this is going to be. And we all want, basically, Owen Wilson to be riding a jet ski at the end of the season. But I think Mobius is much more important than what's going on. He's been around for a long, long time, I think. There are theories going around there that, he is a Loki. I was playing with the idea that he might be a Kang, a version of Kang. In the comics, all the agents were clones. So there were just loads of Mobiuses going around. I think there may be a play on time here. There'll be different versions of Mobius possibly, but from different points throughout time. And maybe he's having his brain washed, or having his memory wiped. That could be something going on there. We get this scene with Justice Renslayer. And again, this is what was leading me to believe that he was possibly a version of Kang. We know that Kang and Ravonna Renslayer have a very on-off relationship throughout the comic history. Thank you, Google. But he seems, he's the one that's sitting there and he's flirting with her. She's not really reciprocating this feeling, I don't think. He's accusing her of having like an analyst on the side. Could that be Kang? Could that just be another version of Mobius? A future version of Mobius, a past version of Mobius, so it's had his mind wiped. I think there's a lot going on there. I think it's leading us to believe that Kang is going to show up. I mean, the central timekeeper seems to be the focus of Renslayer. They seem to be, she's always in front of him. He always seems to be the odd one out, as Mobius even points this out himself. So I think we are being led to believe that Kang is going to show. I mean, there was an image here, I think in Renslayer's quarters, office, wherever it is, and just the image behind Owen Wilson. I think the mask, the symbol is basically a mask, Kang's mask, probably. I love the scene of them basically confirming that there is a multiverse, in my opinion, even though they're trying to claim that there isn't one. The sacred timeline must be made up of different universes. We see all these different, over 1,000 different versions of Loki. I suppose the one when he wins the Tour de France, that could just be Loki on a day out, doing a DB Cooper. Again, he goes and wins the Tour de France, that's fair enough. But all these other Lokis, especially, the Hulk-looking one, I don't think, the blue skin one, I don't think they're just something that Loki did at some point and branched off. I think they're different versions of Loki. It is confirmed they have all different powers and whatnot. So this must confirm that there is a multiverse in place, even though the TVA are trying to stop a multiverse from happening. So a certain amount of universes, realities, must be able to exist down the time stream, or across the track down the time stream, and it's only when something verges off the sacred timeline that they have to intervene. But I think this does confirm that there is actually a multiverse already in play. In the crime scene, there were, the amount of time they said the word he or him, whereas referring to the variant that they're chasing. I think it was pretty obvious in the end it was going to be a twist to be the female Loki, as again I predicted last week. But it wasn't a secret. There's the leaks are out there. But again, I think possibly leaked intentionally to make us all think, yeah, Lady Loki, and actually the villain's going to be someone completely different. Which again, I do think she is not the villain. Again, theories out there. I think shout out to Heavy Spoilers, New Rockstars, everyone's covering it. How this person was, or is listed in the credits as Sylvia, hence the Enchantress. The theory that's now going around, she doesn't want to be called Loki. She's dressed as Loki, she has Loki mannerisms. But I think this will be the origin story of Enchantress. We saw it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah, in WandaVision we got Monica Rambeau. Her origin story, I don't know, well, she didn't really get a name, but I think they're going to go with Spectrum. And, of course, Agatha Harkness. We got her, well, not really origin, but backstory. So, that introduces the two characters. Again, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Bucky's obviously transitioned from the Winter Soldier. Sam is now Captain America. Wyatt Russell's character. John Walker, US agent. So in these other shows we have got new characters coming out of these shows. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, they're both giving us various characters. So I think this is going to be Enchantress's sort of origin story in the MCU going forward. And I think this is happening because Old Man Loki, I think he has either possessed this Sylvia person, and because of this, he's using his sorcery to use through her. And after this has all been sorted out, she will still have the powers. I think that's sort of how it happens in one of the comic ones. I'm not totally sure. I'm not an amazing comic geek. So if you do know how Enchantress's origin story does happen in the comics, please leave a comment down below and inform me how that happens. But I think this is going to be Old Man Loki working through or possessing this Sylvia woman, and from this she will gain his sort of sorcery powers. Now whether he's in actual full possession of her body until later on in the show, I don't know, but I've got a feeling he's doing a bit of a Palpatine here, and he's using this Enchantress a bit like Palpatine used Snoke. He's using his sorcery to control her from far away, as it were, a bit like Snoke. Probably more likely that he is actually in possession of her body until later on. But I like the idea that he's doing a bit of a Palpatine, he's controlling her from far away. Doesn't want to get his hands dirty, doesn't want to reveal himself to anyone. That the TVA. And again, I do think the main aim is to destroy the TVA. She's bombed the sacred timeline, which has caused havoc. We see all these branches coming off the sacred timeline, which the TVA agents, the hunters, will rush out to try and, stop them redlining. But that just exposes the TVA. She got the information from C20, apparently, of how to get to the Timekeepers. And, our Loki is following her through that door at the end of the episode. So I think that is his main goal, to get to the Timekeepers. I think he wants to take them out and take it over, the TVA. Wouldn't it be funny if it's already him he is the Timekeepers? Old Man Loki could be the Timekeepers. There's just so much going on in this episode we've seen. So far, I love it. I can't get over it. I can't stop thinking about it, obsessing over how this is all working. None of it really makes any sense. I think the only way to describe it, like I say, is there is a multiverse in place flowing down the sacred timeline. I've got a feeling that maybe this could be from the Council of Kangs. I think we're all convinced Kang is going to show up, a bit like Mephisto was. We shall not say his name again. So we got the Council of Kangs. Maybe right at the end of time, and it's said in the show that, you know, the Timekeepers are still trying to untangle the epilogue from, you know, the mess that is the multiverse. So imagine if you've got a council of Kangs who are monitoring the sacred timeline and all branches coming off. Anytime anything like one of those Kangs disappears because a branch affected his rise to power, then they go and cut that branch. So it's basically just securing any universe where a Kang has, or any timeline where a Kang has come to power and joined the Council of Kangs. So that could be the big reveal at the end. I do think we are going to be left, I don't know. No, I think she's going to be Enchantress. I thought we were going to be left with Lady Loki going into season 2. I think they are actually going to catch a Lady Loki very quickly. And we get this line from Owen Wilson in the trailers.
Picked up the Tesseract, breaking reality. I want you to help us fix it.
You broke the timeline, now you're going to help us fix it. This could have just been a marketing thing, you know, to get us thinking that that's what he was going to say to our Loki. But things played out very differently than what we thought they were in the trailers. We thought it was going to be our Loki running away with the Tesseract was what was going to branch that timeline in the first place, but that didn't play out. The imagery we saw in this episode of all the branches coming off the sacred timeline, I don't actually think it's the same one as it was in the trailers. I'm going to have to try and check that and confirm it. If I'm leaving this section in, there'll probably be a picture of them both. If I've edited it out, I'm completely talking BS. But yeah, there's just so much going on in this show. I mean, I love it. I can't get my head around it. Unfortunately, it's taken me a couple of days to get to this point making a video. Family stuff getting in the way of my nerd life. But there we go. You know, got to be done. I think it's going to turn out that most of the agents are variants that they picked up probably early on, mind wiped. You know, Casey's probably like a fisherman, or, you know, the head of an aquatic, like SeaWorld or something. This is why he doesn't know what a fish is, because they've completely wiped his brain. So that's one theory we've got going on. Mobius, there's definitely something going on with him. I mean, this episode does lead me to think that he's just a variant picked up from the 90s. I think he should have died on a jet ski and didn't. So they took him out of the timeline to prune that branch. Maybe he was a detective. I think there's definitely something going on with Mobius. MT from New Rockstars, I dare say a lot of people are concurring with his theory where Mobius is a future version of Loki or something like that. I think he's more likely a version of Kang, just from the way he's interacting with Renslayer, Justice Renslayer. But again, the way he interacts with our Loki, Prime Loki, whatever we want to call him. I don't like calling him Prime Loki. I think that was the one that was supposed to die in Infinity War. I mean, I'm just going to stick to calling him our Loki for now. Yeah, I think the interaction between those two, I mean, it's awesome to see on film, but the way he sort of encourages Loki, I think he thinks our Loki is one of the lesser Lokis later on down the timeline. So maybe he is our Loki, a future version of himself, when he's just like, you know, playing it down, how unimportant he is. But, you know, we saw that last episode, you know, he chases particularly dangerous variants, and he thinks our Loki is a pussycat, and again he calls him a scared little boy. Our Loki obviously thinks he's like the Prime Loki, obviously the main, you know, the best Loki ever, but I don't think he is. I think they're playing him down. I think they're just, yeah, making him almost a laughing stock in this series almost. Again, some of the things I am disappointed with is Loki's ability. He just seems to get taken out ever so easily. I don't know why that is. We see him fighting with a couple of guys with a one big trucker, but Loki's a frost giant. He has his magic back. We see him use his magic. So just, yeah, he gets his ass handed to him quite easily. What's going on there? Come on, Loki. You're much better. Just because you don't have your daggers or whatever, you know, you can do much better than this. I do love Loki's description of his powers and duplicate casting. I mean, could that be foreshadowing something's going to happen later on? He doesn't really seem to use it again later on in this episode when he could have. But I want to know what Mobius's favourite Loki's ability is, or Loki's power is. Well, Loki cuts him off. Thanks very much, Tom. But yeah, I mean, I want to know what Mobius's favourite power of Loki's is, or the best one he's encountered so far. Again, could that be to him being a version of Loki, my personal favourite? This content is just so awesome, I just can't stop thinking about it. There's just so much going on there. So yeah, thank you Marvel, thank you Kevin Feige, Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, all the cast and crew. You're doing a great job. This is good content. I can't wait for episode 3, in which I do think possibly they're going to catch Lady Loki and our our Loki, or even our Loki may bring her in to try and earn trust from the TVA. But I do think they're going to get her. When she comes out, maybe this is when whoever it is controlling her, you know, old man Loki probably psychically controlling her through sorcery, but when she comes into the TVA, will that end? We've seen no magic work there so far. So maybe this is what will bring her out, and we will meet this Sylvia woman. Will this happen at episode 3 or 4? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know what's going on in this show. Like I say, not a lot of it makes any sense. If you're still here, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be coming up with lots and lots of theories. Like I say, most of them go completely opposite directions, but if this is the sort of thing that you're into, just sitting around talking about Loki, or standing in the corner of your bedroom talking about Loki, then subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, leave a comment, all helps the algorithm. But I think I've rabbled on for long enough. Don't think there's anything else I need to say. Apart from, and I'll see you in the next video. Farewell.
Better be ready. Glorious.
What's his name? Wyatt Russell's character became... what's his name? Not Captain America. Fuck, what's his name? Man's gone completely blank, I can't remember who he is. US agent, of course, yeah, John Walker.